and welcome back to my channel. I'm Joshua, the founder of Agatebay, and I am cutting agates. So agates are actually one of my favorite things in the entire world, and I've been collecting agates since I was a little child, and now I was able to make it my living. I have 5 employees back here in Germany, and I love cutting agates. I love showing them, making them available to you on my website as well. And I hope in some sort of way, watching these videos, you can also benefit in your own way by maybe placing different cuts than you would usually place a cut on. I've been cutting about 100,000 agates in my lifetime so far, and today I have 6 more pieces. So we'll be at 100,006 agates after this video is over, and these are so-called island agates. They have like this sort of weathered outside banding in some cases, like you can see in some of these pieces, but they don't give any hints away in terms of color unless you have a more fresh broken window, like in this piece for example. And I would say let's get into the cutting. The most important part is get your dirty clothes on, because you will definitely be getting some kind of dirt on your clothes in this process. And yeah, I'll see you in a couple seconds and explain to you about each individual stone on how I will be cutting these. The first agate is a pretty odd looking piece. It has one area that is a little more freshly broken, showing this kind of yellowy, yellowish earth tone colored agate right here. But I also see sections that make me think there may be some sort of pseudomorph or moss inclusion, and that the agate banding is just concentrating in certain areas of the piece. I think I will just place a center cut through the piece like this and see what kind of surprise it's hiding inside. Yeah, as you can see, it has a pretty large area here with this kind of inclusions, which may be some sort of moss or tubey structures, and only a relatively small section with the agate, just about what I thought it may look like. But of course you always hope for the fully banded, colorful, rainbow-like beauty. And yeah, it's not this piece, but maybe the next one, so we'll keep cutting. The druzy is extending a bit in this area, so there's probably going to be a little more banding here in this section, but I'll try to stay pretty close, especially to this corner, so I can still catch some of the banding that's here, and then probably also stay relatively close to this area, just so I can catch as much of the banding as possible and hopefully get some nice colors out of it as well. Oh, wow. Oh. Wow. Yeah, this is the result of the piece, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. Actually, I was afraid that the banding would close down a lot more due to how the banding is shaped up front here, but it's actually still going pretty way deep into there, and just had some sort of yeah, irregular banding going on, and I misjudged it a little bit, and it turned out better than I initially expected. Also beautiful colorful piece. It's got a few smaller fractures here in the central area of the specimen, so I would call this a mid-high grade specimen, and you will probably have the chance to get this one available on my website right as you're watching this video. The third one up is probably one of the most eroded island agates I have ever cut personally. You can see all the banding right here, which is all part of the natural process of weathering out. And so this is all a big window where I can't cut through, or I don't want to cut through. And you can see this is also part of a window that's just happening on the backside. So I have this slim area here where I can cut through, and will probably place the cut right around here where it still has the thick volume, and then come back up here to get through in between these two windows right here. yeah, it turned out to be a pretty solid piece. So it doesn't have a ton of banding like the previous one I cut, but also a lot of different colors with the yellowish opalized rim area. So this is a color change due to the weather conditions from the sunshine that just dried out the entire outer banding so much that it changes its color. So it's also some sort of chromatography that has been caused by the opalization process. And then we can see a little bit of green in the rim area, then some deep blue translucent chalcedony, and then a color change down here at the bottom again to this sort of white area. So certainly an interesting piece and a solid cut. The fourth agate right here is already showing one of the more recent broken off windows, which has partially been caused by a fracture, as you can see here with the color change, and then the more fresh break here in this area. I can see it showing beautiful contrast in the banding as well, potentially some parallax, and then it has some older windows right here in this section, a big window down at the bottom here. I will be placing the cut probably in between this tiny window and the large window that's at the bottom here, and then cut across here next to that window, once across here, and then in between those two windows again. Oh ja, nett. Das ist grün auf jeden Fall, oder?
Mit ein bisschen Fantasie.
I've been able to miss this fracture running across right here, and the other fracture I could see which was running across here. And it turned out to be a really nice banded piece with what I would call green color. I would say it's definitely dark green and pretty nice contrasting piece with the brighter banded areas at the outside and then turning into this darker banded area more towards the center with this green and blue. I would call it a solid piece, but with the fractures, of course, it will not be one of the top quality specimen award winner agates. The fifth agate is a pretty elongated piece, and I'm just hoping that it will have some parallax. I like the kind of round shape it has like this, and if I just cut it around like this, it will be very condensed banding. I could get the same effect if I cut it this way, but since it has the window here, I would not cut through this lengthwise area, so I will be placing a cut right here where it also has the thickest part. So I will be going right through here somewhere to hopefully get some nice parallax in the end. It doesn't quite have the parallax I was hoping for. It's got this pretty cute little center down here in both halves, but it doesn't have a ton of contrast or color in the banding, but it does have a few fractures and some quartz. So this piece will not end up in the junk pile, but it will also not end up on my website, but rather very affordable with another collector or dealer that I sell this kind of quality at a very, very cheap price. This is the last one of the batch, and it has one nicely banded window here. The banding seems pretty fine, so this entire area it cannot cut through. I can see there's a few fractures running across here and there, so it may be a fractured piece, but of course I'm hoping for the best, and I will place the cut somewhere right through the middle of the entire piece across here, and hopefully get some nice parallax.
Oh.
The last one turned out pretty nice, as you can see, and it also did develop some nice and tight parallax banding, especially visible here in this area and over here. Also got this cute little floater down here in a little more saturated yellow color, but also got a little bit of fracturing in this corner right here and a small fracture right there. But another really nice and solid specimen is what I would call this one. Since I turned 30 and I'm not the youngest anymore, I had to sit down here. And I would say overall it has been a solid video. Yeah, with some pretty good quality pieces, but nothing that has like entirely been blowing my mind. You need to cut a lot of pieces for the island agates in order to get like some really top quality specimens. But the last one we cut, the one with the green, the second one I would maybe even call the nicest one, and this one are solid pieces. These pieces I would probably not get polished, but all of these pieces I would say are pretty nice. I will get them polished and you will have the chance to get these for your collection as soon as you finish this video. Give it a thumbs up and head right over to my website so you can see what these are going for. And maybe you can make a nice addition to your collection as well. I hope you did enjoy the video. Make sure to subscribe to my channel so you won't miss whatever else I'm going to be cutting in the future, because it will be fun and exciting. And make sure to see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.